Yes.
while writing answers, जैसे अभी अपन ने 7th वाला क्वेश्चन लिखा था, उसमें हमको एज इट इज जो रिस्क रिस्पॉन्स में जो लिखा है वही पॉइंट्स लिखना है, अपन खुद से कोई दूसरा पॉइंट नहीं लिख सकते। जैसे मैंने एक पॉइंट लिखा फॉर एग्जांपल कि इफ द मैनेजमेंट अब्यूजेस इट्स रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी देन आल्सो नीड टू परफॉर्म फर्दर ऑडिट प्रोसीजर्स।
If the management abuses their responsibility.
हाँ, तो मैंने आंसर दूसरे का आंसर कहीं तो भी इधर घुसाड़ दिया।
मैनेजमेंट अब्यूजेस देयर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, ये तो मुझे कहीं भी याद भी नहीं आ रहा है।
ऐसे कैसे? है ना सर, अपन ने तो पढ़ा था।
Management abuses their responsibility, then you have to perform further audit procedures. It's kind of might be a general line, but they are specifically asking you what procedures you will perform in the second phase of RBA in risk response. So then you have to specifically tell na ki substantive audit procedure alone is sufficient or not. If it is not sufficient alone, then what will you do? Along with the test of control, if the results are positive, then how will you perform? So specifically those points only have to be there. And even if you had written certain point which is specific to the risk response process but is not there in there, then you will probably not be fetching marks. It has to be from there only.
So that was from inherent limitations of internal control.
So that is there. Inherent limitation of internal control says that if management is abusing their responsibility, then it's an inherent limitation of internal control. That
बट उसके
control,
हिसाब से तो अपन रिस्क रेस्पॉन्स भी करेंगे ना, फर्दर ऑडिट प्रोसीजर्स भी अप्लाई करेंगे ना।
we can say that, but that is not a specific point na. मतलब risk response, in the risk response,
जनरल हो गया।
huh, they whatever points
ओके।
they have given, first of all, even if it was a specific point but the point not covered here, then also you won't be getting marks. And in your case the point itself is general only, so you have to be specific in the second phase of RBA what all procedures are you going to perform.
ओके।
सो
Yes.
लाइक इंस्टीट्यूट को वही आंसर चाहिए जो बुक में लिखा हुआ है। आप भले ही जनरल आंसर दो, अगर करेक्ट भी हो तो कुछ नहीं होगा उससे।
That is what I'm trying to emphasize now. And it's not that tough also. Don't think it is heavy. Try to link, like I told na, just like SEC वाला जो आंसर था, एसईसी वाला आंसर आई ट्राई टू लिंक विद इंडियन कॉन्सेप्ट से भी, इंटरनल कंट्रोल से रिलेटेड है, सो इंटरनल कंट्रोल से रिलेटेड पॉइंट्स लिंक करो थोड़ा, कि मैनेजमेंट की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, मैनेजमेंट इवेल्युएट करेगा आईको एफआर, और मैनेजमेंट कोई भी आईको एफआर को इफेक्टिव नहीं बोल सकता जब तक एक या उससे ज्यादा मटेरियल वीकनेस उसको ना मिली हो, सॉरी मटेरियल वीकनेस मिल गई अगर तो उसको वो इफेक्टिव नहीं बोल सकता, सिंपल. सो इफ यू कैन लिंक ऑल दिस, और जस्ट एक बार एक ढांचा बना लो, स्ट्रक्चर बना लो, इवन इफ यू आर नॉट गेटिंग द लैंग्वेज, स्टिल try to get those points that they have mentioned, those points only. Why do we say that the audit you don't fetch marks? Because of this fact only. So don't start writing answer on your own. If you know, then write. Don't waste time. Think
यस
more.
सर।
Think like in a way that what point should be there first whenever you are revising, and then tally what points you missed, and then think why I missed, why the points are here and I'm not able to recall, and why exactly the reason of these points being here in this question, in this particular topic. Then you will able to retain that, instead of writing or thinking on those general lines that I can write this also, I can write that also. Try to focus on whatever institute is trying you to tell, right?
यस सर।
So now SA 700, forming an opinion and reporting on financial statement, everyone must be knowing SA 700, very very suprasiddha standard. So SA 700, auditor's objective is here what? To form an opinion on financial statement based on whatever audit evidence you have obtained, and clearly express your opinion, whether it's a qualified opinion or unqualified opinion. So you have to clearly express your opinion through a written report is here what? Audit report, that also describes the basis for opinion. So that is more or less objective, but I have told you particularly two types of financial statement. One was general purpose financial statement and other was special purpose financial statement. So in the special purpose financial statement also I told you that there will be dealing with where essays 800 की series, not for November 2023, not for November 23, right? And for GPFS we'll be dealing with essay 700 की series. So let's see for general purpose financial statement. First of all, they have given the meaning. It's for wide range of users. It's general. General means for general public in large. General public in large. So this financial statement is for general public in large, shareholders, debt holders, all the stakeholders, general public in large, everyone, for everyone. And this is again divided into two parts, GPFS. So GPFS, if you see, is divided into two parts. One is fair presentation framework, and the other one is compliance framework. One is fair presentation framework and another one is compliance framework. So fair presentation framework and compliance framework, what is the difference? The difference lies in the fact that fair presentation is particularly focused towards fair presentation. So fair presentation particularly acknowledges that whether the financial statement gives true and fair view or not. True and fair view has to be acknowledged. So in the financial statement they acknowledge that the management has provided all the disclosures which are necessary to make the financial statement true and fair view, right? So as to make the financial statement fair presentation, fairly presented, so management may need to provide all those disclosures which are even beyond what is required by the FRF. So even if FRF doesn't require you to disclose certain information, however management might be in need to disclose all those information as well, so as to not to depart from the fair presentation framework, so as to present in a fairly manner, so that is what is the difference between fair presentation framework and compliance framework. In the fair presentation framework you particularly acknowledge that we are preparing financial statement in accordance with true and fair view, that is financial statement are fairly presented even where management needs to depart from certain requirement, or even where management need to bring the additional information which is not even required by FRF, then also management will be doing that in the case of fair presentation framework. However, in the compliance framework, there is no such acknowledgement for fair presentation. However, that is also with respect to compliance with the applicable FRF. So that is also complying with all the applicable FRF, same like fair presentation framework. However, in the fair presentation, you had a particular acknowledgement regarding fair presentation. So auditor's report, we will see three parts. This standard is divided into three parts. One is with respect to all standards on auditing, what audit report are we going to see for audits conducted in accordance with standards on auditing. Similarly, audit reports for audits conducted in accordance with other law or regulation. So this we won't be seeing any such sort of format and all, but that is more or less similar to point number one above only. Auditors report for audits conducted in accordance with standards on auditing and all. And audit reports for audits conducted as per standards on auditing and international standards on auditing. Standards on auditing and international standards on auditing, this is an important question. Mark this as important. This we will see. Very important. Not yet asked. But we will see this in the last part of the standard. So if you consider my thoughts, then according to me, essay 700 may last two answers are very important. Apart from that, you are already aware about the other points in essay 700 if you are thorough with the basics. So these last two points are very important. The separate questions can directly come from these last 2 points, last two topics. So let's start with further then your auditor's report format. Auditor's report format. So anyone aware about what is the flow of the auditor's report format? Remember anyone? First comes title. So title, then addressee, then opinion para, basis for opinion para, right? So this we have to at least have in our mind what is the exact flow or what is the exact sequence. So first I told you is what title, that is you will write independent auditor's report. This is our title. Title has to be very clear, stating that it is a report of an independent auditor's report. This has to be our title. And then addressee means to whom this report is being addressed. So to whom is this report being addressed? You will write to the shareholders of the company, right? So auditor's report shall be addressed as appropriated by or required by the appropriate circumstances. Applicable law and regulation may specify the addressee. Annual report, sorry, audit report normally addressed to those who audit report is prepared. For example, shareholders, TCWG. Generally, इनको ही अपन करते हैं address. That is what they are saying. So 2 points we have done. First one is title. Second one is addressee. Third one is auditor's opinion para. So opinion para, have you ever saw opinion para, right? So we have conducted the audit in accordance with standards on auditing of Yash Chandak and Limited, and evaluated or checked all those financial statement. Then you have to particularly again detail about all the financial statements, each and every title of the financial statement, including balance sheet as at 31st March, profit and loss for the period ended 31st March, and then cash flow statement for the period ended 31st March, statement of changes in equity for the period ended 31st March, and then lastly you'll also write notes to account for the period ended 31st March. So similarly here you are seeing doing what? Identifying the entity. Identifying the entity. You said what? We have conducted the audit of Yash Chandak and Limited. We have conducted the audit of Yash Chandak and Limited. Similarly, you have also stating all the financial statements that we have audited the financial statement of Yash Chandak and Limited. We have audited the financial statement of Yash Chandak Limited, and then you start identifying each and every title of each financial statement. We have audited the financial statement of Yash Chandak and Limited, including balance sheet as at 31st March 2023, profit and loss account for the period ended 31st March 2023, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity, notes to account. Every title of each such statement has to be then included, and then refer to the notes including summary of significant accounting policies, and specify date of period covered for each. So we have also specified, right? So balance sheet as at 31st March. Similarly, profit and loss for the period ended 31st March. So periods or dates, you have to cover all those points as well. So in the case of unmodified opinion, you will simply say as your opinion that in my opinion the financial statement present fairly. Why do we write present fairly? Because we are following what? Fair presentation framework. So in the case of fair presentation framework, you will write what? That in our opinion the accompanying financial statement fair presently in all material respects in accordance with applicable FRF. In accordance with applicable FRF. However, when you are using compliance framework, there you won't use fair presentation. So there you will only write what? That in our opinion accompanying financial statement are prepared in all material respects in accordance with applicable FRF. That is their what? Compliance. Clear? Yes. So you gave your opinion, right? So we are right now in SA 700 seeing only unqualified opinion. We are talking about only what opinion? Unqualified opinion. Every modified opinion, every type of modified opinion we'll talk about where in SA 705. Modification in your opinion. So SA 705 will see how do we frame accordingly all sort of modified opinion. How do we frame disclaimer opinion? How do we frame adverse opinion? How do we frame qualified opinion? Here right now we are framing what? Unqualified opinion. SA 700. So come to now when you have formed your opinion. So based on what points you formed your opinion, that also you have to write in the basis for opinion para. Yes, Krupali?
नो सर, अनम्यूट हो गया गलती से.
So in your opinion para, whatever you have given your opinion that yes, you are giving an unqualified audit opinion or whatever sort of opinion you are giving, you have to state the reasons for opinion, for that opinion, justification for that opinion, or basis for that opinion. In where? Basis for opinion para. Basis for opinion para. So in the basis for opinion para, generally we say 4 points. Just remember this 4 point because they can ask you to frame an opinion para and basis for opinion para. So very easy to frame an opinion para, right? So we just saw we have conducted the audit of Yes Chanakya Limited. For the financial statements have been audited. We have conducted the financial statements of we have audited the financial statement audit, and including title wise chalu kar dena, then including including balance sheet as at profit and loss for the period ended, cash flow statement, now notes to account, statement of changes in equity, right? And we are giving an unqualified audit opinion that the financial statement as a whole are free from material misstatement whether due to fraud and error, and give true and fair view. Financial statement give true and fair view basis the points which are given in the basis for opinion para. So basis for opinion para, you say what? That audit was conducted in accordance with all the standards on auditing only. First of all, first point, standards on auditing comply हुआ है पूरे पूरे सारे सारे. So you have to say that what? Audit has been conducted in accordance with standard on auditing. Similarly, auditor's responsibility under these standards on auditing. What were the auditor's responsibility? This you have to refer what? Para 9. Para number 9. Para 9 here means what? What the points we are seeing. So first is addressee, title, then addressee, then opinion, right? Then basis for opinion, then it will come going concern, then key audit matter. So similarly it comes what? Auditor's responsibility, it comes in ninth number. It comes in ninth number. Seventh is other information, then eighth is management responsibility, and ninth one is auditor's responsibility. So you have to say, you have to refer to that section 9. You have to refer that, okay, you will find auditor's responsibility in section ninth section, after management responsibility. All sort of auditor's responsibility under the standards. Then includes a statement that the auditor is independent of the entity in accordance with the relevant ethical requirement relating to the audit. So you'll say that we have performed the audit independently. We have complied with all sort of code of ethics, ethical requirements, each and everything, code of ethics, ethical requirement, independence, everything has been satisfied. And lastly, you will also state that whether you believe or not that the audit evidence has been obtained in sufficiency and appropriateness. In sufficiency and appropriateness. That is overall, SAI has been obtained. Sufficient and appropriate audit evidence has been obtained. Clear? Yes or no? So 4 points you will have to learn. So first was with that audit was conducted in accordance with standards on auditing. Second one was auditor's responsibility को refer करना है. Third one is code of ethics, independence requirement, right? Ethical responsibility, everything is being followed. And lastly, whether the auditor believes Sai has been obtained. So last में you will remember whom? You will remember Sai Bhagwan. So in the end, you can remember Sai Bhagwan. Do you know who is Sai Bhagwan? बोलो बोलो. Do you know Bhagwan Sai? Sai God. हाँ. So शिरडी वाले साई बाबा was there, and then उनके स्वरूप कौन थे? Who was the next generation of Satya Sai Baba? Satya Sai Baba was Shirdi wale Baba. Shirdi wale Baba was Satya Sai Baba, and then next generation was, sorry, Satya Sai Baba मैंने गलत बोल दिया. Satya Sai Baba was the next generation, right? Puttaparthi wale. And then he has also died. Then the next generation will be Prema Sai. So before dying, he has said that Prema Sai will be the next Sai.
When the
बोलो.
So I didn't remember.
So go through management responsibility and auditor's responsibility till location. We'll then start with location of the description of the auditors. ठीक है? You don't need to learn all the points in auditor's responsibility, but you should have a glimpse once what all things are covered. So it's basically all the standards which you have learned till now, right? So 200, 240, 315, 330, 320, 300, everything is covered in auditor's responsibility. So based on standards on auditing only. Are we required to learn what all responsibilities are management? Yes. that they can ask. Although it would be a very simple, easy IPCC level question, but that is also possible. ठीक है? Done or not? So when I tell you to read, do you take an assumed break? Okay, we'll read this later. Let's take a break first. Yes, read or not? Krupali is saying no, we have not read. We are on break.
रीड कर लिया, अज्यूम ब्रेक नहीं पकड़ते हैं.
चलो भाई. Fast. Now, location of the description of auditor's responsibility. So it's such a big para, right? Auditor's responsibility para. Where will you locate this, or where you could insert this? So you can either insert it just after management responsibility in the main body of the auditor's report. Either you can just insert in the main body of the auditor's report, or you can insert as an appendix. Appendix as in annexure पे जाके last में. So you can just write in auditor's responsibility, you will write what? Refer annexure A, refer annexure C, D, whatever it be. As an appendix, you can annex it. And thirdly, you have the option, if at all you had given the option, you are permissible to report the same on website of any authority. Then you can report there also. So the third point is important. So third point is where you might not be aware about. If they give you in the exam an MCQ, then you will not select that part, right? So they can give you in MCQ, right, where auditor can give the location of the description of auditor responsibility can be where. So option A will be within the body or appendix. Within the body or appendix. Option B will be within the body, appendix, and if at all required on the website by a specific reference within the auditor's report to the location of such description on a website of an appropriate authority where law or regulation or the auditing standard expressly permit the auditor to do so. So where L&R or standards on auditing permits the auditor to do so, then that is what here point number C will be. So point option C could be on only in the body, only in the body. So you will have to then select what accordingly the correct option. If you don't recollect, or if you haven't read this C point, then you will select what? Option A, that is within body or appendix, by common sense, if you are not aware about this. So it's just a matter of becoming aware what they have written. So within the body, within the appendix, and also on the website if it is permitted by law, regulation, and standards on auditing. And when you are referring the same in the description or then on the website of an appropriate authority, then the auditor shall determine that such description address and is not inconsistent with the requirement of the standards on auditing. Now come to report on other legal and regulatory requirement. Yes, so any example of other legal and regulatory requirement where you are required to report on certain points? Other legal and regulatory requirement where you are required to report on certain points. Huh?
12.
Section 143.
12.
But that reporting is to be done not to the shareholders, right? We are here right now doing what? Audit reporting. This audit report will be shared to shareholders.
So 143.11.
With 143.11 is with respect to what?
Other reportings in Companies Act, sir.
But that links to which rule? 143.11 में दिया क्या है?
So like demonetization.
reporting on
No, that
demonetization
was
report.
there in there. 143 subsection 1. So 143 subsection 3. So that you are saying correct.
Yeah,
143 subsection 3. 143
three,
subsection 3 reporting
rule
has to be done.
11 maybe.
Yeah, rule 11. Similarly, 143
Yes.
subsection 10, where Caro generates. So Caro is originated from 143 subsection 10, where they were mentioned that reporting on certain points based on official notification by the official gazette notification, then those points also reporting has to be done. And those points has been specifically mentioned in Caro. Caro. So Caro, you can see one example is what Caro. The other is what you are saying 143 subsection 3. No tax audit reporting requirement not will not come here. We are talking about statutory audit now. Then Lakshmi. Tax audit reporting, why will you why are you merging here? ठीक है, on other legal and regulatory requirements within the companies act, not from other acts, legal and regulatory requirements. So if the auditor addresses other reporting responsibility in the auditor's report on financial statement that are in addition to the auditor's responsibility under the standards on auditing, these other reporting responsibilities should be addressed in a separate section, which is what in this separate section in the auditor's report with the heading what? Heading of report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Or otherwise, you can also report otherwise. See here, as appropriate to the content of section, unless these other reporting responsibility address the same topic as those presented under the reporting responsibility and required by the standards. In which case, the other reporting responsibility may be presented in same section as the related report elements required by the standards on auditing. So they are saying overall that you can either report accordingly in the same section, that is report on other legal and regulatory requirement, or otherwise as you feel appropriate according to the content of section. That means as per 140 subsection 3 you can report like that. Then Caro reporting you can separately mention. So either you can merge everything in the report on other legal requirement, regulatory requirement, or otherwise as appropriate to the content of the section, unless these other reporting responsibilities address the same topics as those presented under reporting responsibility required by the standards on auditing. So if they are same only, that means whatever requirement is there of reporting on other legal and regulatory requirement, and your whatever you are reporting, those are the same, then that should be reported in report on other legal and regulatory requirement only. Else you can report other points as well if you feel that if I want to report Caro separately. So see here, one more important point here is that if other reporting responsibility are presented in the same section as the related report elements required by the standards on auditing, then you shall clearly differentiate the other reporting responsibility from the reporting that is required by the standards on auditing. So reporting that is required by standards on auditing, you can either do what? See, you can either you can report on other legal and regulatory requirement, or you can simply, this is what reporting under audit report only. They are saying that you are reporting under audit report. Audit report, there is one section right after auditor's responsibility. There is one section which is what? Report on other legal and regulatory requirement. This is one section that you are reporting within auditor's report. And that could be another option, there could be one more option where you are separating auditor's report. Getting this? Auditor's report you are separating, where you are reporting till where you are reporting till auditor's responsibility, and then you are issuing one more report which is on other legal and regulatory requirement, other legal and regulatory requirement. So both two types of report you are saying. So report on auditor's report will be till everything will be included there: title, addressee, opinion, basis for opinion, going concern, key audit matter, para, other information, management responsibility, and last auditor's responsibility. And then report on other legal and regulatory requirement will be issued separately. So that is what they are saying. If other reporting responsibility are presented in same section as the related report elements required by the standards on auditing, the auditor's report shall clearly differentiate the other reporting responsibility from the reporting that is required by the standards. And if the auditor's report contains a separate section अगर ऑडिट रिपोर्ट में एक दूसरा अलग से सेक्शन है that addresses other reporting responsibility, then opinion section, basis for opinion section, going concern, key audit matter, management responsibility, auditor responsibility shall be included under a section with the heading report on the audit of FS, and this will be different. Report on other legal and regulatory requirement will be just after that. Will be report on other legal and regulatory requirement will be just segregated from all the sections within the auditor's report. So if you are including all the other sections within the auditor's report section, that is your title, addressee, opinion, basis for opinion, going concern, key audit matter, para, management, other information, management responsibility, auditor responsibility, then that will be within what? That will be within this report on audit of financial statement. And last, you will again separately segregate the report on other legal and regulatory requirements shall follow the report on audit of financial statements. So you have both the options. You can choose either of the same. It's not that relevant, just that you should be aware that okay, these are the two ways that you can report, and it's very general only. Okay, and lastly, then signature. Your signature will be there, your membership number, your FRN firm registration number, date, place, right? So place of signature will also be there, date of the auditor's report. So even in tax audit report, you will find that date and place is mentioned in last. Similarly, here in your statutory audit report also, you have to mention the place, your date, and signature. And signature will also include your membership number, firm registration number, everything. ठीक है. Now come to very important part, which I think that they can ask. This last two questions, last two topics are very important because they can frame a question from here. Particularly supplementary information they have asked in exam in December 21 or July 21. Yeah, December 21 as far as I remember. And they can also again frame a question on this audit reports for audits conducted as per standards on auditing as well as international standards on auditing, right? So they say that already you are within the framework of both, that is international standards on auditing as well as standards on auditing. So practically even I don't know how is this being done, but in the standard they have mentioned all these points, and those are very logical as well as theoretical points, I can say. So we'll just go through them and try to recall the same. So audit reports which is being conducted in accordance with SS as well as ISS. So an auditor might be required to conduct an audit both in terms of international standards on auditing and also in terms of your national standards on auditing which is being issued by ICAI. So both he might be required to do. If this is the case, if that is the case, then auditor's report will refer to standards on auditing, SA को refer करेगा in addition to the ISA. So auditor's report will have to refer, auditor sorry, not will have to, but he can refer to essays along with ISAs, but he shall do so only and only and only if, and that's a big if first point, there should not be any conflict between SAs and ISAs which would lead the auditor to form a different opinion. That means what ISA is saying to give a qualified opinion. However, as per according to our standards on auditing, we are giving what? Unqualified opinion. So it should not be such that there is a conflict which is arising in SAs and ISAs, that is leading to form a different opinion. Similarly, there should not be any conflict between requirement in ISAs and SAs that will lead the auditor to not to include an EOM or OMP para, which in particular circumstances is required by the standards on auditing. So that what will happen, that SA according to standards on auditing, we can see that okay, we should include EOM or OMP para. We should include EOM or OMP para. However, ISA is denying that, and ISA is there is a conflict between the requirement of ISA and SA. So if that is the case, then you will not do audit in accordance with SAs. You will don't only do in accordance with ISAs. But what the standard says that you may refer to SAs along with ISAs if and only if there is a conflict. There is no conflict. In fact, there is no conflict between the requirement of ISS and SS with respect to forming a different opinion or to include an UM or OMP para which is otherwise required by SA. And similarly, the auditor's report includes each of the elements set out in the auditor's report. That means everything which is being set out in the auditor's report, law or regulation, wherever you can find layout wording specified by the standards on auditing. So all this will be your second process of thought, where you will see that okay fine, I can do or report along with essays, along with ISS report. If you want to your audit report to refer to essays, if you want your audit report to refer to essays along with ISA, then you have to follow these two conditions. First condition was there should not be any conflict between ISA and SA, and second condition was auditor report should include bare minimum each and every element set out in the auditor's report prescribed law and regulation. And then lastly, it says when the auditor's report refers to both ISAs and SAs issued by ICI, auditor report shall clearly identify the same, including the jurisdiction of the origin of other auditing standard. That means what? ISA, that means they will have to specifically specify the jurisdiction of the ISA. American hai, African standards on auditing hai, or Ireland standards on auditing, whatever could be the jurisdiction of the ISAs. But then they will have to, they'll have to say that. ठीक है, एक बार just go through this again and think of any doubt that you have. बोलो भाई.